Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and now we're going to start on the speedometer part. So it's a good thing that when I made the backing plates, I made them out of a thicker aluminum, because if I would have had the real thin aluminum, we wouldn't have been able to do this. Simply because the original backing plates that have the holes in them for air is they're too thin and flimsy and they just flop around. Well, these here don't. So I came to a point where I thought maybe I better go ahead and start this video. But before we get started, we're having my trunk coffee today. Somebody mentioned that, says I missed the trunk coffee. So I thought I would show that in this one. But I just have a new favorite cup or mug, and that's why I don't normally do this. Not to mention, with the way the world is today, if you show any politics, people are ready to carve your liver. So I just try to stay away from that. But we're having trunk coffee this time. But anyway, I'm going to put you down here and I'm going to show you what my next step is. I've already got my hub off, or my rotor and everything, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. Alright, now these here are the new backing plates, and you can see how stiff they are. They're pretty stiff. I can't stand them flimsy things they have originally. They sure didn't want to give you any metal. But what we have to do is we got to put 2 of these magnets on the rotor itself. And they've got a little C-clip and a groove in that to put the C-clip. Now we're going to have to put a washer in there to keep it from flopping around, but we can handle that. We got 2 of those. One will go on one side and one will go on the other side. Now, the only way that I can do this is to utilize these holes right here. Now, the reason I have to utilize these holes is because between that mosquito trying to get me, between here and here, you have no place to put anything. So, I don't want to have to drill through this. It's probably hardened steel. So what I'm going to do is, these here are not quite wide enough for these magnets to go down into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one side, and I'm going to get my little die grinder out, and I'm going to start grinding on each side of that until I've got it big enough for this to go in. Once I've got it in, then I'll come over here to the opposite side. So, see him getting me right now? So we'll put one on this side of the hole, and then straight across from it we'll go on this side of the hole. That way they'll be directly across from each other. Alright, so once I've got this hole wallered out for this to go in, it's not going to slide back and forth, simply because this hole, this round hole, is going to be bigger than this, so it's not going to go any further. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is we need to put, where did I put my sensor? Let me find my sensor real quick. What we have to do is we have to put this sensor in the backing plate. Well, there's only really one place that we can put it, and that's in this area right here. You can't put it down here because this is in the way. You can't put it up here because this is all in the way. And you can't put it in the front because the rotor's there. I mean, the caliper's there. So basically, we're going to have to put it right here in between these 2 holes. So what I have done to find my hole where I want to put it is I've got my trusty high temp disc brake wheel bearing grease. And no, it's not lithium. Somebody asked me that the other day. So anyway, to locate where we want to put this is we want to put it directly in the center of this right here. Now we could go into this place or we can go into this place. We decided to get it up here higher. The higher you get it, the more you're not going to get any debris hitting it. Most of the debris is going to hit from the front, but we want it to be as high as possible, and we've got clearance here to do that with. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the caliper bolts, and yes, it's a little rusty, I didn't paint those, and I'm going to put just a dab of grease on the head of that bolt. Alright, then we're going to take it and we're going to put it in this hole right here, and I'm going to reach on the other side there, and I'm going to have to move you guys out of the way, and I'm going to have to put this rotor up on there and then turn it to where it's halfway in the middle. And you want to make sure that you're pressing down on it so it's at the furthest point so that it will stay centered. And then we will get down here and look and get it as close to center as possible, and then push it up on there and then pull it straight off. And we didn't get it centered. As you can see, we got our hole started. Well, that gives me an idea of where I want to put it, because it left a grease print there. So I'm going to get my drill bit and we're going to start drilling this out, and I have to do it the ending with this drill bit. But to start it off with, we're going to use a stepper bit. So we're going to use this stepper bit, and we're only going to go to the second one, because if I go to the third one, the hole's going to be too big. Alright. Now, since I didn't, that's hard on the back. Since I didn't get it centered, I have to pretty much judge it, but as long as I stay within this way, I'm okay. So we're going to put it right there. Alright, so now we've got our hole, and let's see if we can get it to slide in there. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and put our washer on there. Our lock washer. Then we'll put our other lock washer on there. Now whether we have enough room for both of them washers, I don't know. We're going to find out. Now I just want that to be just barely protruding from the nut. We're going to tighten it up from the rear. And we're just going to tighten it up finger tight right now just to see how much room we have. So now is the time we put our rotor back on it and see how much clearance we have. And I believe we're good, because we only have to have the distance of the sleeve. So we're in good shape. In fact, we may have to adjust the probe out a little bit further. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and waller this out. Now I'm going to do that off the video, and I'll waller this out until this fits it. And then I got to make me some washers to put behind it out of probably Delron. And I don't know, we might make it out of aluminum. It just depends on how much we have to play with. Because as you can see, we're going to have a washer about the thickness. I'd like to have one of those spring washers to put on it, but we'll see. So let me go do that, and at least we've got this done so far. So we'll be right back. Alright, so now I've got this adjusted in between there to where there's just a little bit of a clearance, probably a 32nd of an inch, which ought to be plenty. And I adjusted it out. So now we're going to take and hook it up, and we're going to test it and see if it works. So we're just going to plug it into the harness that it's supposed to be plugged into. And let's see if it works. Alright. I'm going to turn it here. Well, I can't. That ain't going to help me. It's working. But this is not working. So this here must be the tach. And this over here is the speedometer. Because watch the number. I think that'll work. So now I just got to figure out how to calibrate it. I'm probably going to run a GPS on it anyway. GPS is more accurate anyway. So this is basically for cosmetics, man. To be quite honest with you. So at least it works. We just got to figure out how to get the tach to work. Now that I would like to have working, because that could be a useful tool for when you're going to tune it. You can set your RPMs at whatever you want it to be set at when you're warmed up. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish putting that back together and tighten the bolt, put the Carter pin back in it, and the caliper and the wheel, and I'm pretty much done with it. But you've seen it working. Let me try to get you a better look at it. I don't know if that was a good look, but I got you off the tripod now. So I'm going to hold it up here, and this will help me for when I'm watching the video if the sun or the light ain't in the damn way. Alright, let's spin it here with my hand. $32 miles an hour. Man, I'm fast. Alright, man. We know that's wrong, so we got to calibrate it. You got to put what size the wheel is and stuff like that. So, anyway, that's got it. The speedometer part is installed. Now, I'll just take and run this around here. I'll zip tie it to that. And then I'll run it with the brake line and run up to the brake line and up through there, and that's where it plugs up. So anyway, Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one.